What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 310 EDU's YouTube channel. Obviously, this video is brought to you by 310edu.com. If you like content like this and you're trying to sharpen your roping skills, you need to check out 310edu.com. Sign up for our email list and get 7 days free. Anyways, let's jump into the video. So as you've seen in the title, today we're going to talk about the 3 best shots in the branding trap if you're a beginner. If you have these headshots dialed when you start branding this season, you're going to make a hand, you're going to be a lot more help, and you're going to be able to rope the calf from any position you find yourself in. The whole idea when it comes to ranch roping and at head and heel brandings or doctor kneelings for me is versatility. I want to be able to rope that cow in any angle that I might find myself in. So I'm going to want a shot from the right-hand side of the calf, and additionally, I'm going to want a shot from the left-hand side of the calf. And I'm usually going to choose my shot based on what I'm looking at, but usually in the branding trap, these 3 shots are going to show up the most. So we're going to start with the easiest of the 3, and that's going to be called a sidearm shot. This shot is going to set up when you have a calf standing in front of you with its head facing to the right, or a calf that is traveling in front of you from the left to the right. How you're going to get this shot done is you're going to create a sidearm angle with your swing. It's going to be a forehand swing, and you want your rope to match the angle of that calf's head. When you're roping small calves in the branding trap, you're going to want to throw through the calf's neck, and you want it to figure 8 on the other side. So that was not a perfect shot by any means. It did not figure 8 on the other side. The reason it did not figure 8 on the other side is because I stopped the rope with my left hand. If you know that already, if you know that that's why it doesn't figure 8, we can adjust that now. And now it figure 8's on the other side. So my Honda was a little low there, but on a calf with an actual neck, it's probably going to be fine. The margin for error with these wood dummies is pretty high. It's pretty easy to miss your Honda placement on that shot, but this sidearm shot is a great versatile tool for any calf traveling in front of you, left to right in the branding trap. So if you find yourself in this situation, that one was a little better. It figure 8'd a little better. If you find yourself in this situation, you're going to want to pull out the sidearm shot. That's pretty much the first shot we teach to any beginner. It's going to be a forehand swing, pretty easy delivery. When you throw your rope, you want to point at your target, and your target is not the calf's head, right? Your target is going to be the shoulder of the calf. Additionally, another shot you're going to be able to use from the right side of the calf and the left side of the calf is going to be a hula hand. You can throw a hula hand, and that brings me to my second shot, right? So the second shot on both of these angles is going to be the hula hand. And what you're going to want to do with the hula hand on the left to right angle is you're going to want to stand it up. So like you can swing almost a sidearm type swing with that hula hand. And it's probably my favorite. Well, it's not my favorite anymore. Good grief. I can't believe I missed that. I didn't even have any coils with it, for goodness sakes. So the hula hand's typically my favorite. Maybe not today. Typically my favorite because it travels from the sky to the ground. Y'all probably heard me say that in other videos, because the ground cannot affect the shot. So we're going to match the angle of that calf's head with the hula hand swing, right? The angle of the calf's face to the ground, my target is going to be the shoulder, not the calf's nose, and then we deliver, right? It's going to kind of, because of the inertia of the swing, that rope is going to, instead of figure 8ing through like the sidearm, it's going to figure 8 down in front of the calf, but not a big deal. Just be quick on your slack. So those are 2 shots that you can throw if you have a calf traveling in front of you from left to right. So now let's look at the same shots pretty much on the other way. So if we find ourselves with a calf traveling from right to left, it's going to look a little different. We call this shot, we'll start with the forehand shot, and this is going to be the 3rd variation. It's going to be a tip over. Now, the reason why we call it a tip over is because the tip of the loop is going to be tipped over my left shoulder in order to create the angle of that calf's face to the ground, if you can see that. You still want it to figure 8. You're going to be off the left-hand shoulder to a degree as that calf comes by. We want it to hit, figure 8 in front of the calf. All the same things, but you have to change that angle. The reason why you have to change the angle is because if you were to throw a sidearm shot like this, there's no way to really get the calf caught, because when you throw your rope, I mean, it could, but it's just going to be kind of a wadded up pile of crap. If you just match the angle correctly to the calf's face to the ground, we can get that done there, right? So that's going to be a tip over from the left-hand side of the calf. So that gives you a forehand shot from the right-hand side of the calf. It gives you a forehand shot from the left-hand side of the calf. So now if we go to the hula hand, it's going to change in a couple of different ways as well. So instead of swinging this straight up and down hula hand, we're going to flatten it out over our head, and we're going to kind of throw a flat loop, right? You want to key on the fact that you want your Honda to hit the shoulder, and that way it shoots the rest of your loop that way so the calf doesn't run through it. You kind of need to be on your slack with this one pretty quick. If you're not, the calf's going to run through it. So again, it's not going to be stood up, straight up and down. It's going to be a flat hula hand. You want it to fly in the air kind of like a frisbee almost. It hits. We're on our slack. We're good to go. So that's 4 headshots right there for basically every single scenario that you can think of in the Brandon trap. If you have a calf moving in front of you from right to left or left to right, it's going to give you an angle for those shots. Guys, this week we're kind of starting the Brandon trap series, the doctrine series. I'm going to start going through all of my businessman shots when it comes to the Brandon trap and doctrine yearlings. So all throughout this week, we're going to be filming that and posting it. And those are my 4 favorite headshots in the Brandon trap. It's really just a variation of a forehand and a variation of a hula hand. So if you have those 2 swings down, you can practice those 2 angles. And this Brandon season, you're going to be way more productive and way more help for all the Brandons you go to. Guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Once again, check out 310 EDU. The rope I'm using today is called the Shamrock. If you want to check that out, it's at 310ranchlife.com under 310 polys. I'll see you in the next video.